What's up, humanity? Mike here with Truth Awakening, and on today's episode, I wanted to ask you, what does it mean to live your best life? Because I'm a big believer that majority of people just want to live their best life. But how you perceive that, your perspective upon that, may be a whole lot different than somebody else. And it may be ever evolving because for me, how I felt what that phrase was as a teenager or in my early 20s or mid 20s is a whole lot different than how I feel or how I perceive it in my early 30s. So I wanted to ask you if you want to pause the video for a second and kind of sit with that, because if you never thought about it, that's okay. Go ahead and sit with it. Because believe it or not, some people, they're so busy and so caught up taking care of other people that they don't even think about that. Why not? Why haven't you thought about that? Or maybe once upon a time you did and now you don't because life happened. Sit with that for a second. What does that mean? But I'll go ahead and tell you right now that how I felt in my early 20s to now is completely different. It's a complete 180 because I used to use it as an excuse to just do whatever I want. Well, I'm just gonna live. I'm just gonna live my best life, and it was kind of selfish. It was kind of toxic. I didn't always take in consideration of those around me. I just did whatever I wanted. And yeah, you want to do what you want to do, but kind of sit with it, right? Kind of reflect upon it, maybe. Think about that it's not just you. Because for me, I wish somebody would have told me this, because I would have been wise enough, hopefully. I mean, I don't really know, but I would have been wise enough to kind of like sit with that and go, maybe I need to kind of reflect upon how I perceive this, living my best life. Because am I causing detriment not just to people around me, but maybe myself? For example, when I was in my early 20s, I would use feeling bad or getting frustrated at work or whatever, or having a killer workout. That was my excuse to go eat fast food. How counterproductive, right? And I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna live my best life. I'm gonna order Domino's. I'm gonna go eat a huge double cheeseburger with large fries and a big O large Dr. Pepper, and then you know what? Throw a milkshake on there. Yeah, I did that, and I was able to keep most of the weight down, and I thought I was healthy because I was always still exercising. But I look back and I go, wow, I really shot myself in the foot on that one. Because now in my early 30s, it's been since 2020 more or less. I haven't had fast food. It's been over 3 years. I gave it up because I knew, like, after I ate it, it might be different for everybody else. This is not to make you feel bad if you eat fast food. Everybody's in their own journey, on their own journey. But for me, I always felt bad afterwards. I always felt heavy. I feel like somebody just sucked all the energy out of me. I was kind of done for the day. And I would usually go eat fast food at night because then it would like make me real tired, and then I go to sleep because in my early 20s, I had insomnia. It was just crazy work hours and everything else. But I realized I wasn't taking care of myself at the same time. I wasn't creating an environment where my body can heal because I was getting exposed to so much stuff. And so later on in life, I had to take a whole decade. But I'm like, dude, enough's enough. I want to live my best life, right? I want to feel good all the time. I just don't want a quick fix. I don't want to just like, oh, let me go eat fast food, or oh, let me just drink a couple of beers to get a quick buzz, but to have a hangover the next day. And I'm not trying to guilt trip anybody, but just sit with me. We do things that gives us a temporary high, temporary feel good, but in the long term, how's it benefiting us? It's usually not. You know, in my early 20s, I was exposed to, and this is kind of like a deep one, I was exposed to pornography at a very young age. And all the people I grew up around, uh, especially the male figures, they talked about women like they're just an object. Oh man, look at her, man. Look at her. You know, just like lustful, nasty, and because that's somebody's daughter, man. You know, how you just gonna look at her like that? Let's go a little bit deeper than just the appearance. And I think with society, that's what we've done. We just look at the appearance, right? We're so concerned about the appearance, right? Or the label. It's deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. And when you actually go there with somebody, besides just the surface level, it creates such a beautiful dynamic, right? The relationship that I have with my wife now is so grand. In my opinion, it's so beautiful. You know, I don't know how she feels. I think she's happy with our relationship. I can't speak upon her behalf. She has her own opinion, her own perspective. But for me, I, I think we're the best we've ever been. And it keeps on growing. It keeps on becoming more beautiful, and we like become less reactive to one another, and we show more affection, and we're more ourselves. And some people don't have that in life. Well, why you don't have it? Because maybe you haven't kind of sit with it and kind of looked at the broader perspective of how you perceive your reality. You know, are you genuine? Are you authentic? And so for me in my early 30s, that's the route that I've gone. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel uncomfortable. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm trying to shine a light somewhere, right? Where maybe you haven't been completely honest with yourself. You haven't had good intentions for yourself, much less the people around you. Because sometimes living your best life, I know in my early 20s, I didn't really, there's points. I've always been a considerate person, but there was points where I lost my way. I lost connection with, I guess you could say, my soul, my divinity. And I became more self-centered, more selfish. And I didn't take in consideration those around me. And maybe I stepped on a couple people's shoes. Actually, I know I stepped on a couple people's shoes. And I think there's times where I didn't address it. I had my tunnel vision on. I had my blinders on. You know, I was just in that tunnel vision, and I just did what I did. And if I could tell if I look back on a few people, like I remember saying certain things or reacting in a certain way, and people just kind of looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? You know, I'd freak out on somebody over something stupid, but I had an insecurity about something, and I lashed out. And they're like, okay, man, cool, whatever. And then that person began to fade out of my life. I did that. I was responsible for that. And sometimes we have to go deep there. We have to go deep sometimes to see that, hi, it's me, I'm the problem. But when you get past that, here's the beautiful thing. This is not a video just to kind of like shine light on all the heavy truths and just be like, God, I feel like crap. No, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, my friend. But just stick with me on this one. When you start perceiving in that perspective, and you start reflecting upon your life, and you start being aware and present of what you do, not just here and there, but in the now, in the present, with every little thing. And it's not like you're focused on it, you're just here. Your brain's not elsewhere. You're not in that tunnel vision. You're just here. You're not on your phone. You're not thinking about stuff, about the dreaming about the future, or thinking about the past. You know, allowing the past to distract you or make you feel some type of way, like having regret or frustration what somebody did to you, or just feeling whatever. You know, like any heavy emotion. Like why are you holding on to that later on in life? What has that prevented you? What have you lost? What have you taken away from yourself? And when you realize that, it can be heavy, but here's the secret. Have acceptance with it. It is what it is. That's the past. And when you can have acceptance, you can surrender it, which is let it go. And then that allows peace to come in. So you get out the negativity, and then you allow the positivity to come in. That's how it goes. You got to make room for stuff. And when you do that, know what you're doing is you're having good intentions. And you're actually having absolute honesty upon your life. Now, just stay with me. When you have absolute honesty and good intentions upon your life, then you can see things for what they really are. And this is what my wife and we like to call, this is awakening your truth. And this is what I have built Truth Awakening, the nonprofit that I've created. That's what I have built this around. So if this resonates with you, hear me out on this. So when you have absolute honesty and good intentions upon the mind and the body, you create balance. You uplift your well-being. You uplift your mind. You uplift your body. There's always room for growth. You need to have acceptance in the now, in the present, but you can expand beyond that. You can go deeper, right? There's this kind of theme going around. Oh, just be in the spiritual community. Oh, just be present. Just be centered. That's only part of it. There's so much more to this world, to this life. You have to go inward. Present's only one variable, and another big variable is seeing the oneness in things, right? That you're not separate from anything, right? But you also don't have to allow things to affect you a certain way if you can find acceptance, peace, surrender, right? Because then that allows things to go. So we are energetic beings, right? Our body holds on to stress mentally and physically, and we have to sort of work that stuff out. We have to dissolve it. And some people, like, they have this talk, I believe it's toxic, this toxic mentality of, oh, well, if you, whatever you believe, you can do it like that. Instant manifestation, law of attraction. That's true to an extent, but that doesn't work for everybody. We're here to climb a mountain. Each one of us, folks, are here to climb our own unique mountain. And it's ever evolving. There's no peak. You don't ever make it to the top. But you can start to create a foundation of optimal well-being. And that's having absolute honesty and good intentions upon the mind and body. Because when you have that and you focus that upon the mind and body, you actually create synergy between the mind, body, and soul. Bam. Mind, body, soul. A. You do that because you have less distraction. And you're like, oh God, Mike's getting spiritual. Hear me out for a second. Yeah, I'm getting spiritual, man. Do you not feel it? When's the last time you've been in nature? When's the last time you've been out in the country and looked up at the stars? There's something so much more grand than what meets the eye. But we think we're here as an individual, as a speck, as a nothing on planet Earth, and it's so much bigger than that. You're not being true to yourself, and you need to wake up. You are a divine being. So start being, right? Allow yourself to feel. You're like, oh, dude, this guy's getting emotional. I'm letting it in, man. It's true. We're so disconnected in life. I see so many people that are disconnected. Why? Why? Why have you allowed yourself to go there? I feel your pain because at times I've been there. Let it go. It's not worth it. Why hold on to it? You are not the victim. Learn from it. Learn from whatever the experience was. Whatever that put you there, learn from it. Let that shit go, man. And for some people, it could be small things that have become bigger things. Some people, it could be something dramatic, whatever. You can make a positive out of any negative. It doesn't matter the circumstance. And some of us, we don't really have big circumstances that happen in our life, but it builds up over time. Start taking care of the mind and body. And for me, ladies and gentlemen, this is living your best life. This is where it's at. You got to start taking care of yourself. You got to start being honest with yourself. You got to set good intentions and be true, not just to you, but everything else around you. Live with good values and principles. Be heartfelt. Allow yourself to feel, but also be open-minded, right? Allow yourself to think things out a little bit, right? Because if you're just emotion, you could shoot past the marker, right? Because the emotion can sometimes be manipulated by the ego, and you don't even know it. You may think you are being true to yourself and righteous, but you're actually being self-righteous. You're actually casting a stone upon somebody for the same exact reason, but in a different context. I'm sure you can pick up what I'm saying, right? There's more to life than what meets the eye, and try to perceive neutrally and be mindful of how you think, and your life will transform greatly. I know, because I've done it, and if I can do it, you can do it. So with that being said, let's create this beautiful picture of our best life. As always, be good, be safe, and always remember, say hi to a stranger.